Alex had been traveling through the stars for weeks, alone in his small exploration ship. The mission had seemed simple at first. Find a habitable planet, scan it for life, and report back. But the deeper he went into uncharted space, the more he realized that the universe was far stranger than he had imagined. Each new world seemed to defy logic, with skies that shimmered in colors he couldn't name, and landscapes that twisted in ways humans had never seen. This planet, the one that now filled his viewport, was unlike anything he had seen before. The ground glowed faintly beneath his feet as he landed the ship near a river of liquid that reflected the sky like molten silver. Strange luminescent plants leaned toward him as if curious about his arrival, their soft hum almost musical. A storm was approaching. Dark clouds swirled above in patterns that reminded him of galaxies, and lightning danced across the horizon in jagged silver streaks. Alex knew he had to find shelter quickly. The scanner on his wrist picked up signs of a structure nearby, an outpost of some sort, old but still standing. With the storm closing in, he had no choice but to head toward it. As he ran through the alien forest, the plants seemed to recoil from the pounding rain, their leaves shivering under the downpour. He reached the outpost just as the first drops hit the metal walls, soaking him instantly. Inside, the air was dry, and a strange metallic scent filled his nostrils. The outpost seemed abandoned, though there were signs that someone or something had been here recently. Tools lay scattered across the floor, and strange markings adorned the walls, glowing faintly with a soft blue light. Alex felt both awe and unease. He had never seen any civilization like this, and yet it felt alive, almost as if the building itself was aware of his presence. He wandered through the narrow corridors, scanning for signs of life. His footsteps echoed, and the hum of machinery somewhere deep inside filled the silence. Eventually, he found a small living space. There was only one bed, a thin mattress on a raised platform, and nothing else. Alex sighed. One bed was going to be enough for him tonight, and that was all that mattered. He quickly began to remove his soaked jacket when he heard a soft sound behind him. He froze. The sound was barely audible, a small shuffle, almost like a whisper against the floor. He spun around and saw her. She stepped from the shadows, slender and delicate, with skin that shimmered in pale shades of violet and blue. Her large, dark eyes seemed to contain galaxies within them, and they fixed on him with a mix of curiosity and caution. Alex felt a sudden rush of adrenaline. He had encountered alien life before, but never one this personal. "Who are you?" he asked, keeping his voice calm. The alien girl tilted her head. "I am Lyra," she said softly, her voice musical but strange to his ears. "There is only one bed here." Alex raised an eyebrow. "I noticed, and..." Without hesitation, she moved closer, her movements fluid and graceful. "We share it," she said simply. And then, without another word, she slid closer, pressing lightly against him, not aggressively, but in a way that left no doubt about her trust in him. Alex's mind raced. He had never been this close to another being like this, and yet her gesture was not threatening. She seemed nervous, almost shy, but she needed warmth, safety, and companionship in the storm. Alex swallowed, trying to steady his racing heart. He nodded slowly. "Okay, we can share it." She smiled faintly, relieved, and settled beside him. The night was quiet, save for the storm outside and the occasional hum of the outpost's machinery. Alex tried to focus on the alien's presence, on her trust, and not on the strangeness of the situation. He realized that despite her unusual appearance, she was intelligent, aware, and vulnerable, the same qualities that made humans human. As the storm raged outside, they began to talk. Lyra's English was perfect, though her pronunciation carried a lilting musicality. She asked questions about Alex's life, his species, and his travels. In turn, she shared fragments of her own world. She spoke of a planet once full of life, of civilizations that had thrived in harmony with nature, and of a catastrophe that had nearly wiped out her species. Alex listened, fascinated. Her stories painted vivid pictures of floating cities, oceans that glowed with bioluminescent creatures, and forests where the trees communicated with one another through pulses of light. Yet there was sorrow in her voice, a quiet sadness that tugged at him. Her species had been reduced to almost nothing, and she was one of the last remaining. "I never thought I would see another being like me again," she said quietly. Her eyes reflected the faint glow of the outpost's lights. I was alone for so long. Alex felt a pang of sympathy. You're not alone now, he said. I'll help you. Whatever you need, I'll do my best. She hesitated, then nodded. I believe you. Humans are different from others. You are brave even when you are afraid. You think quickly. I can see why my species might have survived alongside yours. The rain continued to pound against the walls, creating a rhythm that was almost hypnotic. For a while, neither of them spoke. Alex marveled at the quiet intelligence radiating from her, and she seemed equally fascinated by his humanity. It was an unusual connection, forged in a moment of necessity but growing into something deeper, mutual respect and understanding. Hours passed, and the storm outside began to wane. The first faint light of an alien sunrise seeped through the cracks in the walls, casting a soft glow on the strange machinery that filled the room. Alex and Lyra remained close, neither of them moving to disturb the fragile trust that had developed overnight. You have human strength, Lyra said after a while, breaking the silence. But your mind, it is clever. You see solutions where others would panic. Alex smiled faintly. And you have alien grace and intelligence. You can see the world in ways I can't even imagine. We make a good team, I think. She tilted her head, considering his words. Yes, perhaps together we can find a way to save my people. There may still be hope. As they prepared to leave the outpost, Alex could not help but feel a mixture of excitement and apprehension. He had never known what it was like to truly understand another species, to share a moment of vulnerability with someone so different, and yet here he was, forming a bond with a being from another world, a bond that might determine the survival of an entire species. Lyra led him through the corridors, her knowledge of the outpost guiding them past dangerous machinery and unstable floors. She moved with the grace of someone born to the environment, her every step measured and careful. Alex followed, relying on his human ingenuity to adapt to the alien hazards around them. By the time they reached the outer doors, the storm had passed. The sky above was a swirling canvas of violet and gold, and the alien landscape stretched endlessly before them. Rivers of light shimmered across the terrain, and the strange floating rock formations caught the sun in impossible ways. Alex felt a thrill of wonder. He had seen many worlds, but none like this. This way, Lyra said, pointing toward a distant structure that glimmered in the morning light. There is a place where we can begin to plan. If we are careful, we can save what remains of my species. Alex nodded, feeling a surge of determination. Lead the way. We'll do it together. As they walked, Alex glanced at her. She moved with confidence now, no longer hesitant, and he realized that their shared night had created a foundation of trust that could withstand the challenges ahead. In that moment, he understood something profound. The universe was vast, and life was fragile, but humans had a strength that could bridge the gaps between worlds, and so, with the alien sunrise warming their backs and the promise of adventure ahead, Alex and Lyra stepped into the unknown. The bond they had formed in the small shared bed of the outpost had grown into something far more powerful. Friendship, trust, and the hope that even in the darkest corners of the galaxy, life could find a way. Their journey had only just begun, and neither of them knew the trials that awaited. But for the first time in a long time, Lyra felt hope, and Alex felt the thrill of discovery beyond anything he had imagined. Together, they would face the challenges of a strange and beautiful world, testing the limits of human courage and alien resilience. The morning light spread across the alien landscape, painting everything in colors Alex had never seen before. Lyra led him across uneven ground, past rivers that glimmered with living light and plants that swayed in a rhythm he could almost feel. The air smelled sweet and strange, carrying a hint of electricity from the storm that had passed. Every step reminded Alex how different this world was, yet somehow alive in ways humans could only dream of. They reached a plateau where a large structure towered above them, its walls reflecting sunlight in angles that made it appear almost like a crystal. Lyra explained that it was one of the last remaining outposts built by her ancestors, containing records and technology that could help restore her species. Alex's curiosity and excitement surged. This was what explorers lived for, the thrill of discovery and the chance to make a difference. Be careful, Lyra warned as they approached the entrance. Not everything here is safe. Some of the old defense systems still work. Alex nodded. Got it. Lead the way. Inside, the structure was both alien and familiar. The walls pulsed with soft light, and strange symbols moved slowly across the surfaces as if alive. Lyra guided him to a large chamber in the center, where holographic images of her people flashed into existence. Cities floated above oceans, and beings similar to Lyra moved gracefully, communicating through patterns of light. "These were our homes," Lyra said quietly. "Everything was lost to the storms and the predators. This technology is all that remains." Alex studied the devices, scanning them with his portable analyzer. He realized that much of it was advanced beyond anything humans had yet developed. Yet the logic behind it was understandable. "We can use this," he said. "I can help you adapt it, make it work again. Maybe even use it to find other survivors." Lyra's eyes shone with hope. "If we succeed, we might be able to restore my people. But we must be cautious. There are dangers outside, more than just the weather." Alex followed her warning. They moved carefully through the corridors, listening for the faint sounds of predators, creatures that roamed the lands in search of any living being. When they heard a distant roar, Alex felt a surge of adrenaline. "We'll need defenses," he said. "Let's use this technology to create some." Over the next hours, they worked together, combining human ingenuity with alien innovation. Alex adapted control panels and power sources, while Lyra used her knowledge of her species' tools and energy systems. The result was a small but effective defensive network. Sensors that could detect movement, force fields that could delay attacks, and traps designed to keep predators at bay. As the sun climbed higher, they tested the systems. Lyra's guidance proved invaluable. She understood the subtle ways the predators moved and predicted their patterns. Alex added his tactical thinking, adjusting the placement of sensors and barriers. Together they formed a team, each complementing the other. Then, as they were making final adjustments, the ground shook beneath them. A massive predator emerged from the forest, a towering creature with thick scales, claws like blades, and eyes that glowed faintly with hunger. It roared, a sound that shook the air and vibrated in Alex's chest. Lyra's pulse quickened, and Alex felt the familiar rush of fear, tempered by the confidence that they could survive if they worked together. "Stay close," Lyra shouted, moving behind a control panel. Alex activated the defenses. Energy nets shot out, wrapping around the creature, but it roared and tore through them with terrifying strength. The predator charged, and Alex felt the ground tremble with each step it took. Lyra called out instructions, directing him to weak points in the structure that could trap the beast. Together they dodged, planned, and improvised, their combined knowledge turning a deadly situation into a battle of wits. Finally, with a clever maneuver, Alex lured the predator into a containment field. Lyra adjusted the energy flow, sealing it inside. The creature roared one last time before collapsing, trapped but alive. Alex let out a deep breath, adrenaline still pumping through his veins. "You were incredible," Lyra said, her eyes bright with admiration. "I've never seen anyone think so fast under pressure." "You too," Alex replied. "We make a good team." The encounter left them both exhausted but bonded. They shared a quiet moment watching the sunrise paint the sky in fiery colors. Alex realized that the connection he felt with Lyra had grown beyond trust. It was a genuine friendship, built on shared danger, teamwork, and mutual respect. Over the following days, Alex and Lyra explored the surrounding area, searching for other remnants of her species. They encountered more dangers, swarms of smaller predators, unstable terrain, and storms that could change direction in an instant. But each challenge strengthened their cooperation. Alex's human problem-solving and Lyra's alien instincts allowed them to survive and adapt. One afternoon, they discovered a hidden valley, shielded by cliffs and thick forests. Within it, they found the remains of a settlement, partially buried and decayed but recognizable. Structures stood tall despite years of neglect, and holographic markers still flickered weakly. Alex could see the potential immediately. "We could restore this place," he said. "Set up a safe zone, maybe even find others who survived." Lyra's expression softened. "This is more than I hoped for. If we can recover the technology here, my people might have a chance to live again." They spent the next hours carefully gathering usable equipment and data. Alex's hands moved quickly, analyzing power sources and stabilizing old systems. Lyra guided him, explaining which devices were crucial and which were dangerous. By the end of the day, they had created a small but functional hub, enough to send signals into the wider galaxy in hopes of contacting any survivors. As night fell, They returned to the plateau where they had landed. The twin moons of the planet rose above the horizon, casting a pale light over the terrain. Alex looked at Lyra, seeing her standing tall and confident despite everything she had endured. "You've taught me a lot," Alex said quietly. "Not just about your world, but about courage and resilience. Your species may be small in numbers, but your strength is incredible." Lyra smiled faintly. "And you've shown me that humans can be allies, that your species has courage and ingenuity that surpass expectations." "I trust you completely," Alex nodded. "Then we'll continue together. Whatever comes next, we face it as a team." The following days were filled with preparation and training. They mapped the surrounding areas, repaired broken equipment, and tested the communication systems. Each day brought new challenges, but also new successes. Alex marveled at how quickly he had adapted to the alien environment, and Lyra seemed to grow more confident in her abilities as well. One morning, they received a faint signal, a pattern of pulses that matched the ones they had sent out earlier. Alex's heart raced. "It's working," he said. "Someone is out there. They might be alive." Lyra's eyes sparkled with hope. "We need to respond carefully. It could be survivors, or it could be danger." They adjusted the communication systems, sending a carefully coded response. Hours passed with tense silence until finally, the signal returned. A reply from another survivor, another member of Lyra's species. The voice was faint but clear, filled with relief and curiosity. Alex and Lyra shared a look of triumph. The first step toward rebuilding her people had been taken, and it was because they had worked together, combining human skill and alien knowledge. As night fell once again, they sat side by side on the plateau, watching the moons rise and the stars shimmer. The world was still dangerous, the challenges far from over, but for the first time hope had a tangible form. Alex realized that humans were capable of more than survival. They could create trust, form alliances, and inspire courage in the most unexpected places. Lyra rested her hand lightly on his arm. "You've changed my world," she said softly. "And you've changed mine," Alex replied. "I never thought I'd meet someone like you on a planet like this, but I'm glad I did." The wind swept across the plateau, carrying the scent of alien flora and the promise of new beginnings. Together they looked toward the horizon, knowing that whatever the universe threw at them, they would face it as one. The night was quiet, the stars above endless and full of possibilities. In that quiet, Alex understood something fundamental. Humanity's strength was not just in technology or power, but in courage, compassion, and the ability to form bonds that could span worlds, and so, their adventure continued. With hope in their hearts and determination in their steps, Alex and Lyra prepared for the next chapter, one where they would face greater dangers, discover more secrets, and continue to prove that humans could rise above any challenge. Even in the vast, unpredictable expanse of the galaxy,